All right, everyone, we start off today with a sort of talking about the social media summit that was held yesterday. Of course, Bill Ottman was there, Tim Pool was there, Bill Mitchell, a bunch of other people. It was actually a lot more people than I expected. I thought it was going to be a few dozen. It looked like there were maybe 100 attendees or thereabouts. Some of them, I'm sure, had guests. First up on stage, Diamond and Silk, of course. Here's the basic premise of it. I think it was helpful. I don't think that it quite hit the mark, and here's why. Trump really should have had a teleprompter. This is fair criticism of his delivery here. He probably should have had a prepared speech and then simply allowed others to speak and ask questions because he meandered off the topic of the First Amendment, tech censorship, and anything remotely related to it and ended up going on a 5-minute rant about Chinese trade. He talked about the border wall. He started talking about stuff that was loosely related to the fake news media, like the legacy media, but had nothing to do with technology particularly. And so as far as his particular speaking went, half of that first, period of time was him talking about things that had nothing to do with the issue. Then he had people come up, give a few brief words. One of the lawyer there that's representing James Damore and a few others, she spoke briefly. He had a couple of others, a pro-life group leader of some sort. And it's like it smacked of the partisan at times because really, and I know that this isn't the case. Like Tim Pool, for example, he's not a Republican, he's not a conservative, he's more on the left. Ottman is not some far-right zealot. A lot of the people in the crowd there aren't on the right, and the legacy media is flipping out, and I'll get to that in a moment. But the thing is that the presentation that the public saw before you had the closed-door sort of Q&A stuff was more strictly people that were conservative. I think that was regrettable. I think they should have had Ottman definitely give a little speech. I think Trump should have given a brief introduction, then had 5 or 6 people give little speeches on the topic to sort of drive the point home. He should have had a prepared speech as an opener, and then they should have gone to Q&A. Then they cut away. The live stream ends right as Gorka's starting to question. So we get this teaser. It's like, oh, it's Sebastian Gorka. He's kind of a heavy hitter. He's got that podcast. He's got hundreds of thousands of viewers when he makes a show. He's fairly prominent. He's about to ask the president a question. Wow, I wonder what Trump's answer will be. And then they cut away from the live stream and make it like a closed-door event. I'm like, okay, fuck me, I suppose, as a content creator. So the execution of the summit was not great. That being said, the summit itself, in principle, did very well. And we know this by looking at the reaction from the legacy media. They've completely lost it today. The day's news, if you look up Trump social media summit, you'll notice, by the way, I wonder if you notice this when you Google it. Is Google showing you any result whatsoever that's praising the summit? Why do you think that is? It's not because the summit was a bad thing. It's not because Nazis or anything. It's because of algorithmic manipulation, thus illustrating the point fucking further. But you look at like Vox and CNN and all these groups. Like the main criticism is, the people there, they're like politically partisan. Oh, Trump praises Twitter trolls. Trump praises extremists. Trump praises people that we have called problematic to try to get them deplatformed, which is the whole fucking point of the summit. Trump doesn't understand. Trump lies in his statements at the social media summit. And the big one is he didn't invite any social media companies to the social media summit. Well, no, he was bringing influencers to the summit because, by and large, so far, creators have not been heard by our political structure. Congress called Diamond and Silk forth, but other than that, they really haven't talked to creators. They talked to Zuckerberg and Dorsey and Sundar Pichai, and they bring them in over and over. And in some cases, Trump pointed this out, and this is just to his credit. He said these companies come before Congress and they act all suave and stuff, but then they lie repeatedly. Yes, they do. Zuckerberg, in particular, provably lied to the U.S. Congress. He has not been held accountable for that. Facebook has literally broken the law on multiple occasions, and nothing has been done by our political system. They've had their say. These billionaire-class individuals have already had their say 1,000,000 times for the last few years. They talk through the media, which handles them with kid gloves as long as they kill off the content creators competing with them, which is a vertical monopoly. It's already illegal under U.S. law. They do that. They talk to Congress at a whim. They come forth and they donate to the politicians, which is why they get preferential treatment. Trump's the only one who hasn't gotten their money. He got nothing from Silicon Valley because they don't like his policies and he didn't ask. He's mostly self-funded. But anyway, that's a lie. They did have social media represented there. Mines was there. Bill Ottman was invited. Why should he not have a seat at the table? Why is it that it's only Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos and people like that that are allowed to come and talk to Trump or talk to Congress? Why can't a creator with millions of fans, why can't a Sebastian Gorka go there? Why can't Tim Pool with his however many fucking hundreds of thousands of fans just on YouTube go and see the thing? Now, do I expect that this particular summit changes anything? No. I do not believe that this is the upswelling of populistic support against attacks on the First Amendment that's going to topple the current pro-censorship paradigm. Because it's been boiled down once again to a politically partisan shit show. Even one of the signs in Pool posted this on Twitter, earlier with the platform. I think it was deplatforming or demonetization or something like that, and it mentioned political beliefs. Political beliefs are not the only reason why people are being demoted or abused in other ways. People who don't even have political beliefs are being treated the same way. It is an attack upon independent, grassroots, little guy content creation in favor of on-demand services, the fake news, legacy media, the corporate multinational press, so-called, and groups like that. It's an attack upon average people on behalf of the moneyed elite. The very funny part is that people on the left support this. They actually support protecting billionaires and their assets as opposed to allowing the free flow of information. Very interesting how the left has become, according to their own prior stance, far right in nature, fascistic. If George Carlin were to give his first stand-up today, they would demand that he be deplatformed and depersoned and put on a desert island for being hateful. That's what the left is doing these days. They've become they've become like the Tipper Gore Housewives of America. They've gone back to the 90s left. They've gone back to the almost arguably the pre-Clinton era with their fucking evangelicon moralism. And that's what they are. And we need to stop them at all costs. The funny part is, of course, when you're looking up information about a social media summit that's about censorship, the news that you're getting has been run through a bunch of filters by these same tech firms. And because people like me have been algorithmically demoted, like on YouTube and everything else, we're not visible to the outside world. It's just an echo chamber almost at this point, and something needs to be done about that. I wish that somebody there would, I hope that it was addressed. I hope somebody mentioned in passing to Trump, hey, this is not political. It's all about the money. Here's why. Did Tim Pool mention it? Did Ottman mention it? Did any of you mention it? I really hope so. I really hope one of you got 2 seconds alone with Trump to pass that information on. Because if he keeps operating from the perspective that it's an attack on his conservative allies, he's missing the big picture. He's only seeing one very small portion of the reality. Yeah, conservatives are being attacked. So are liberal independent content creators. Certainly so are libertarians. Anyone on the new right or new left, they're being attacked too. As long as they are independent, if they haven't signed a contract and sold their soul, they're being algorithmically demoted. That's what it's all about. The only independent creators, in independent name only, that are still able to make content that you see on the recommended list on YouTube or you see promoted on any of these other sites are people that have sucked teat. They're people that have sold out. They're the people that got the corporate backroom deal that you don't even know in some cases exists because they don't disclose that fact. Their handlers will make sure that they have the right think political opinions at the right time, that they don't rock the boat too much. They'll say, yeah, you can say what you want, but here's a list of things that you might want to avoid saying because it'll piss off the advertisers that are signing those lucrative 6- and 7-figure checks you're getting. So just keep that in mind. You can if you want to. Yeah, Casey. Yeah, fucking whoever you can say whatever you want politically. But keep in mind your paycheck. Hey, you get a lot of money there. Maybe they even blackmail these people. I wouldn't be surprised if they do. Anyway, so the social media summit on its surface, I mean, it's a good idea. It's good that it happened. Do I think it changes anything? No, unfortunately, not really. Well, we'll see. Hopefully I'm wrong. And then watching the legacy media flip out about it is funny. Their reaction shows that they're scared. They're scared because what they're worried about is that enough people will distrust them and reject their draconian fear-mongering that they'll lose, that the independent content creators will just wipe them aside anyway, which is the best thing for the world, really, if they stop existing altogether. It'd be a better world without the corporate media, dude. These people stoke fear and hate and all of these things on a day-to-day basis. They just do it in different ways according to whatever social paradigm happens to exist. Independent content creators get called conspiracy theorists for suggesting that moneyed interests that have ties to the tech firms might lean on them to try to ban independent content creators. That's supposedly a conspiracy theory. Well, it's a little bit of a conflict of interest. Look at James Damore. He was mistreated because of specifically his political beliefs and because he came out and criticized his own company. Then he was basically blacklisted. And now he's suing. He's represented by the first person there that Trump dragged up to speak. I was surprised Diamond and Silk didn't actually speak. I was surprised. He leaned in and talked to them. I think maybe he was asking if they had like something to say, and they're like, no, we're just sort of here. We wanted a Q&A. Maybe they didn't want to give like a little speech or something. Should have done it anyway. Funny. That's about all. Peace out.